Hey everybody, welcome back to the. Oh no, is it working?
Lord knows.
Oh, hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry about this, but I have to do something. Twitch doesn't like my title.
Lord knows.
Hold on 1 second.
Our YouTube is up.
Yeah, they won't let me put ACB in the title for some reason. Fuck you, Twitch. Fuck you, Twitch. Fuck you.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
Sounds
really.
about right.
All right, there we go. Okay,
Free
Twitch is going
speech,
live.
never met
All
her.
right. Okay, now we're going live. Sorry about that horrible start there for a second. Everybody, welcome back to the Mad LiberTEA party, where up is down, left is right, and apparently you can't say ACAB on Twitch. The rules don't fucking matter anymore because nobody knows what they are. Hey guys, I hope, and we have guests here. Lots of guests in the hassle, the hassle. Lots of guests today. Max set this up. So, Max, do you want to intro what's going on here?
Well, yeah, at a couple of points in the past, on the spilling the LiberTEA right after it happened, and in my spotlight, I mentioned that there was a big protest, and not big necessarily in numbers, but definitely big in impact on the 17th of October, and there were over a dozen people arrested, and it was really something else. And I thought, you know what? I think we should reach out to these people. We should get them on the show. And we should hear their perspective instead of just me babbling on about it for hours on end. So, yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're talking to some of the people who had the balls to stand up to the system.
Yes. This is, and yeah, I know that, like, some of our longer time watchers, viewers have probably already seen some of the footage. Well, we might pop up tonight. And remember when we did talk about this, I think everybody in the room was pretty upset about it. I want to like take a second and ask you guys, would you guys like to introduce yourselves? Just like tell us what you go by and what you're what like what you do. I don't know like how you would like to describe yourself. Don't dox yourself, please. Just like stay high, don't dox.
Hi, I kind of go by M, I guess. Everyone pretty much knows who I am. I'm pretty vocal on social media. I work in a local ER, and that's pretty much it.
Oh wow, that's cool. I have a lot of like nurse and like EMT friends and stuff. It's a good thing to do. Like, oh, man, I can't do it. That takes so much school. Holy crap.
It's something.
Remind me to be around you when I get shot by the cops.
Yeah.
I know, right? Just go
Seriously.
stand next to them. Who's next? Who's next?
I'll go next. So my name is Cal. I was born and raised in Phoenix, and I'm honestly just a normal, regular person. But yeah, Venetian. It's hot as hell here.
I don't think that you have the right to say you're a normal person if you're out there in the streets standing up to one of the worst police forces in the country and calling out the systemic racism and the brutality that they're doing. You're not normal.
Well, honestly, here in
disagree.
Phoenix, it feels that way.
To me, it feels like they're the normal people, and the people who are just okay with it. They're not normal.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Here in Phoenix, it's a little backwards. I guess technically, maybe I'm not a normal. Like Max said, our protest was real small, but we're out here. Very few and far in between, but we're here.
I think that the smaller gatherings are actually much more brave. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's next?
Who wants to
Lucy.
go next? I don't want to
I'll
like.
go.
I'm an anarchist. I can't tell people what to do. Y'all have to pick. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm Lucy. I was one of the minors that were arrested 10/17. On my free time, I like playing sports. I like basketball. that's just about it. I was born and raised in Phoenix too.
I tried to play basketball, but I'm 4'11", so that didn't work out very.
Ouch. I'm
I tried
6'4".
real hard. Oh, I'm so jealous. All right,
I guess
last one up.
yeah, that's my turn.
Last but not
I'm
least.
Sparky. My name's Sparky. Originally from the Bay Area. Moved here to the desert, and now I'm dealing with these fucking pigs here.
I know that feeling. Not your pigs, but still. So,
Pigs everywhere.
how did you guys get involved in this protest? Like, was this like, I mean, not in this protest itself, but how did you guys get involved in activism? Like, what was it that made you say that you wanted to actually like take action?
Oh boy.
Ugh.
Hard
Okay.
questions first.
Yeah,
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I was raised here in Ahwatukee, nicknamed All White Tukey, and
Ooh.
Yep.
so I was very sheltered and wasn't exposed to like really anything. And then I picked up and moved to Seattle when I was 21. And yeah, that kind of just being in that environment kind of radicalized me. And I spent the first good chunk of the summer in Seattle, and then I came back here and continued that activism.
Wow, cool. I mean, like, yeah, that's kind of a culture shock from heck. I remember going from like, like this living mostly in the deep south to like suddenly in the middle of SoCal. It was so much culture shock, but like, yeah, it does open up your eyes a lot to what's going on.
Oh, for sure.
Cool. Well, what about the rest of you guys?
I'll go next. So, yeah, like I said, I was born in Phoenix. Just being, I guess, raised here and living here my entire life and seeing such a big community of like minorities. Like we have a huge community of like Mexicans, and we have just a huge diverse melting pot, and still kind of seeing all of the things that we put up with when it comes to like police brutality and racism. I mean, we had Joe Arpaio as our freaking as our sheriff for a long time. Seeing that and just living through it radicalized me kind of from the very beginning. And then I just couldn't shut up about it, I guess. Especially over, last summer, 2020, everything that happened after George Floyd was murdered, it just completely blew up, and then it was something that I just couldn't ignore anymore. But yeah.
I think
So
that
were
was
you-
a tipping point for a lot of people, actually.
So were you part of those George Floyd protests from earlier in summer, and you just kept rolling through the rest of the year?
So it's kind of funny because the first few nights I wasn't even able to make it out. I'm a mom, and it wasn't until shoot, I'm not sure if you want me to say this, Lucy, but
You're good.
somebody I was related to, my sister, was caught up, and at that point I was like, it doesn't matter if I'm a mom or anything. I had protested before. I'd protested my entire life, but I was like calming down to raise my kid or whatever. But I was like, at this point, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you, like, I need to be out there. I need to stop I don't want to say making excuses, but I just need to stop kind of sitting on the sidelines. And so after the first 3 nights, I was super, super active in the protest. I tried to make it out to everyone, but yeah, kind of crazy. It was a long time ago, it feels like.
It does. It really feels like years and years. I mean, it is like a year almost ago, but like when all the George Floyd demonstrations, I guess we could call them, started and everything, so much has changed too. Blows you away.
But not enough has changed.
No, a bunch of things have changed, but not the right things, and not enough things.
Very
How
true.
about who's next? Are you gonna do Lucy? Are you next? Or
Yeah, I guess. So I started off as an activist, particularly for environmentalism. I had a lot of like save the future or whatever, like without the school. And then I remember one day getting off of work and seeing the George Floyd protest that was going to happen in Phoenix, which was the first night down here. And I went down not knowing what I was doing. I didn't have any block on. I was very distinguishable. And out of nowhere, they shot me in the knee. Like I wasn't doing anything. And that was the exact moment I was radicalized. And ever since then, I've just been out every night.
wait, they just shot you in the knee. What with like a was it like pepper balls or a
A rubber bullet.
Or,
They hit you with a skipper the first night you were out there.
God
Yeah, and you know
damn.
what? I had to work 12 hours the next day.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
that'll radicalize
in the
fucking
knee,
anybody.
Yeah, that
Seriously.
and you weren't doing anything at all. Like they just opened up on you guys, because like I mean I've seen that happen, like get literally like all over the place, and it's ridiculous.
Well, to be frank, okay, I'm not even going to try to defend them. It was a water bottle. They got a water bottle chucked at them, and they were pissed. And so they were like, you guys need to disperse. We didn't. And then they just started shooting.
Guns, water bottle. That
I have
sounds about right.
actually
Seriously.
been in that exact same situation in a different place. That happened in Tulsa. One person threw a like I don't even think it had anything in it. It was like a plastic bottle at them, and they just fucking unleashed on everybody indiscriminately.
I'm pretty sure they started firing pepper balls back in the August 9th protest was when I think that was supposedly a water bottle. I didn't see it, but
I got a
Man,
black eye at that
Cops
protest.
are that's it. We've exposed it. Cops are
Seriously.
afraid of water bottles.
It's their
that's their
weakness.
kryptonite.
They're terrified.
Didn't the guy who kind of went viral for getting his balls shot, wasn't that sparked by like a water bottle?
I'm
Because
not sure.
I thought
It
he
was
went to
that.
help someone.
I was there, I want to say, and I want to say it's sparked by the
I
same
would
thing.
not at all be.
Or
surprised.
That was
somebody
the
threw
one with the
something.
challenge coin, right?
Who knows?
Was that the
Yeah,
Well,
that's
maybe
what the
so.
challenge coin was for.
yeah? Because shooting somebody in the nads is something
Yeah,
to be proud of,
it was like the
apparently.
Trump protest a long time ago. I want to say it was sparked by a water bottle too.
I'm
Yeah,
not at all
yeah. I
surprised.
think I remember reading about that. I couldn't make it out across town that day, but
Yep,
That was in
that's our
2017.
police force for ya.
These people are ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. They threw a water bottle at me, and I feared for my life.
how about you, Sparky?
How about you, Sparky? Yeah, that was what I was about to ask.
Basically, I was raised in a small town in a rough neighborhood where everybody wants to be a fucking gangster, even the cops. So they do dirty shit there. Ever since seeing the first, injustice, I had to say something, had to do something. That's basically how I ended up where I'm at now.
So you were like, you didn't grow up sheltered and find it. You grew up with this. This was your life.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Wow. So like, when did you start? Did you start with the George Floyd stuff too, or did you start? Have you been doing this for a while, or?
My very first protest was against the Keystone Pipeline back in, say, 2013 or so.
I remember that. Yeah.
Damn.
So you've been at it a little bit. This is not your first rodeo.
No. No, I was also there after Mike Brown died. Went up to Oakland and got to experience everything up there.
Wow. What was that one like? I mean, I know we've heard what media has like spewed at us and stuff, but
It was nuts. I mean, shit.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but seeing everybody across the nation, and not just the nation, like the world, beginning to like push back and say no, and all these demonstrations and everything, it's so powerful. Like it moves me. I get freaking incredibly emotional about this stuff, and it just blows me away nowadays that so many people are standing up, because I never thought we would have people all over the place ready to push back. And I mean, man, I almost hate to ask this question, but we are kind of a political show at times. And I wanted to know if you guys are comfortable with it. Do you guys have political leanings? Are you guys like, oh no, we lost someone? We'll get them back if they just pop in. I'll pull them up. Do you guys have political leanings, or are you cool with sharing about like your political beliefs?
I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel like just through the course of knowing each other, we all kind of feel the same politically. We kind of agree on almost everything. But I would say we're left about as far as you can be left.
Oh,
Almost.
so are you guys communists or like ancoms or
Oh
like
no. um,
eco-anarchists? What's going on here?
I mean, I've taken one of those like surveys before, and eco anarchism has popped up, but I think Emma's kind of right. Like a lot of our beliefs are very left leaning, almost to an extreme. Like we're definitely not Democrats or
No.
liberals. I think a lot of us do possibly hold some anarchist values, but
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Just a bit.
And then there are a lot of us that favor communism, or kind of see the future leaning towards a more communism perspective, which I can get behind. But I don't think I've actually ever really heard anybody label themselves.
Yeah, like out on the street, nobody does that. This is an internet thing.
Yeah.
Like, truly,
Nobody
it's an
walks
internet
around
thing.
wearing a. I don't walk around with a badge that says libertarian, like a big patch on my back. I just,
You
fuck.
just
mean,
are.
I have a little pin that has a little porcupine on it, so I mean, I kind of do, but not really.
What is the porcupine?
The porcupine? It does not attack, but it will totes hit you back. Like if you come at it, it's got the
That's
spikes, and you
fucking-
get the. Yeah, they
love that.
they practice the non-aggression principle, so they won't like aggress you, but if you come at them, you get a face full of quills.
I
And it's
fucking
now
love
actually, as of like last year, or I can't remember if it was late last year or early this year, they have officially made that the animal of their party. So yeah,
that. I didn't
go-
realize
go
that was a
porcupine.
thing. I get on that. I like porcupines.
Porcupines are pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Who doesn't like porcupines? Not very cuddly though.
I find that personally, most of the people that are out there for anything other than like a lot of people that I run into on the streets are like at least minarchist isk. They have they're not full on, but they have ideas, and we all have these common grounds where we think that the government has gone too far usually.
Yep.
Like I think everybody out, like there's so many people that go out to do activism in various forms. They either feel like they have to do it because the government who says they're going to do it doesn't do it, or because the government is doing too much to people in a bad way. And so like I mean it do you guys find that out there where you guys are doing this at is there like a kind of like a mixture of people, or do you think like most of the people protesting alongside you guys are like one side or the other, or does
I think
nobody out there, I mean, is it mixed up, or is it like all one side basically?
I
is
think
what
that
I'm
it's a
trying to ask.
little mixed up in not necessarily the belief. I think everybody knows and believes that this is an issue, otherwise we wouldn't be out there. But the biggest difference that you see is in how to move forward from here. And you'll hear people like saying, liberals killed the movement, because they're more focused on like reform, and that goes hand in hand with like organizing marches with the approval and consent of the police, which we saw this summer.
Ugh.
And we were not about at all.
You guys didn't ask permission to go out there.
Over here in
I didn't
these
see
parts, we
anybody
have a
filing
saying.
paperwork at University Park.
Right.
Over here in my parts, we have this saying, and it's free men don't ask permission.
Mhm.
But I mean, do you guys, if you guys don't get a permit there, are you guys like immediately illegal, or
Yeah.
is it? Oh,
They'll
that's
declare an unlawful assembly as soon as they can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
the
they
second
pull
you
that
step in.
shit. They'll use any excuse to pull that shit too. Like, it's kind of ridiculous protesting here. It's dangerous for no reason. You can be arrested for sitting on the sidewalk.
Yeah, because I remember on the protest that you guys all got arrested at, there was they were following you the whole way, obviously, but the moment that they got you to a position where you were backed up against a wall, they pounced. They didn't wait at all. They didn't do anything. I mean, you can hear allegations that they were like planning charges and shit before they even had authorization to arrest you guys.
Yeah, they started our police report 8 hours before we set foot in Phoenix.
wow.
Which those police reports are so shitty.
They're
You would
really
think-
trash.
They're like copy and pasted. Like, you would think, I
'Cause
don't know,
they
with
didn't
8
even
hours
see what you
something.
did.
could've done a
You
little
know, that
better.
would kind of make sense. That kind of makes sense.
Mhm.
So you guys have had trouble with the cops, obviously. What about the press? Do you guys have, because like here we have problems with the press showing up at protests on any side for any reason and then leaving.
Lucy, just
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is a
and then
Lucy
they
question.
twist it around.
I
They were actually
That-
pretty good to us on J17. But like that was, but they still called us fucking far right terrorists or something. I can't remember what it was, but it's part of their common spiel about the Boog people. Like they quoted me in one article saying, you know, like we want unity, I want unity, and I want to get past the polarization and find our common ground and fix this stuff and push back against the government. We need to unite. And then they followed it up talking about quoting somebody else, and then followed up them saying that we were a far right group, even though like they had to tell everybody that we weren't there for Biden or for Trump or for any of this shit. Like it's so silly at this point. Like
alternative facts.
trying to
Yeah.
keep with their narrative, they do these gymnastics and stuff. Do they do the same kind of stuff to like the people there?
So
I'm gonna leave this
I
one to
mean,
Lucy.
my personal issue with the press would be, I almost want to say it was like August last year. There was a fight in Chandler on Gilbert and Warner, and I'm not gonna give myself away, but things happened. And then one of the people recognized me, and he's a cameraman for a news station at ABC 15. And ever since then, he's like recorded me 24/7 anytime he sees me specifically. And it pisses me off because like nothing can get done if cameras are on me. Like it's to the point where they're trying to like basically dox us the way that they're always recording us. That's just my issue with them.
I mean, I hate
So
to
that
be an
explains
asshole,
your,
but you could
vetting
maybe
process.
use that, like, just look at me while everybody else is doing stuff.
True.
Maybe we should start
But-
using you like that.
Yeah,
Just have
I mean,
you
like-
I like doing stuff.
Hey, look, a distraction.
But hey, if you're distracting them while everybody else does stuff, you are doing stuff.
True. ACAB, all cats are beautiful.
All cats are beautiful. I love that.
M said all cones are bastards.
All cones are
All
Cones
bad.
are
cones are
bad.
bastards. Fuck them cones.
Fuck them.
So,
cones.
yes, yeah, you guys moved a couple of those too. But so
So
what else? What was your guys' recollection of the events of that that night? What do you guys have anything that you think hasn't been talked about enough? Anything you want to share?
Oh, at the end. At the very end, they tried saying that we let off another ammunition. It's in the police reports. It's in all the news stations. That's not real. That never happened.
It's a lie.
There
It is
were
a
no
lie.
shots fired. I had the actually. Just in case anybody wants to look away if you're squeamish, we have the footage of the arrest that I took from like a
Dude.
couple yards away.
let me pop that up there real quick for everybody. Y'all watch this. fucking get pissed off just watching that again, and I've seen this a bazillion times at this point. Like, that looks like something from an effing movie. Like some sort of
Excuse
like
the shoddy camera work.
futuristic. Yeah, well, this was back when you were first getting used to doing this stuff.
And we're so fucking lucky you were there, even though I'm pretty sure we almost beat you up. But
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah. Well, with
It
your
comes
guys'
with the
experience
territory,
with the press,
unfortunately.
with your guys'
Yeah.
experience with the press, I don't blame you now that I know it.
Well, when I come upon a protest with a camera, I have to start talking pretty quick too, because that's common, because the press have been so bad to people, and it's not just the mainstream. You have to watch the indies too, because some of them come in there with an agenda.
very true. I think
But-
we've experienced that. Well, I'm not sure if Max, you saw her, but Jennifer Harrison was there that night too,
that bitch.
who also got footage
our
of our
girl
arrest.
Jenny.
You know,
Yeah.
her being
Doxed me the
upstairs.
night of our arrest.
She had a plate carrier, and she was. I watched her stream to see if I can get any screenshots from it, and she was talking the whole time, just blabbing about like, "Oh my gosh, this is so scary. I'm so terrified. All these evil people." And then you see me in a red polo right next to you, and then she's behind the police line wearing a plate carrier.
God,
But some people just you know what? If you can't handle that, then leave the camera work to somebody else.
And that's
So-
Jennifer.
Now that we've shocked and angered everybody in the audience, they're asking about what this was about. So, would you guys mind explaining what this protest was about and how it got to this point where they were literally, that looks like a scene from a dystopian fascist movie or something like that. That's not anything most people imagine that they're gonna see happening on the streets of America in 2020.
So, Max, you said that you were at the August 9th protest, right?
Yep, I was.
Yeah. So, I think, as time went on and more people in the movement started to get arrested, one of the release conditions is that they can't protest as a condition of their release. And so you saw the movement kind of start dwindling, and our group had managed to narrowly escape arrest a few times at a few protests, and we were like, okay, well, as long as we're not arrested, we're going to keep going out and drawing attention to this. But at that point, they were just so fed up with us that I think all of us went into that protest that night knowing that
Oh yeah.
we were going to get arrested.
100%.
I texted
I
people
didn't bring my
before I got
phone.
out of the car. I was like, hey, I'm going to get arrested tonight. I'm sure of it. Just so you know.
Yeah, I think everybody made plans for that night knowing that we weren't going to go home.
Yeah.
And like Em said, it was just everybody was getting arrested. There were certain things that the orgs couldn't do anymore. The orgs didn't want to risk marching on the streets, and they had to stay on sidewalks, and we were stuck doing chalk walks, which was doing something, but a lot of times it just felt like the orgs and community organizers had their hands tied, and the only option was either giving up and just waiting until the next fucking murder, or to keep going and facing the consequences and just dealing with it when it happens, which it definitely happened.
Yeah, we've already got too many names to say, you know.
Seriously.
Shit
Yeah.
makes me that shit makes me depressed and sick on a daily basis, because every day we're gaining new ones. And then leading up to the more recent years, they have killed almost 2,000 people a year.
I've had to watch 8 critical incident briefings from Phoenix police alone
Exactly.
since that.
Times
Yeah.
over 2,000. It's ridiculous. And that's not just Arizona, mind you, but the law enforcement is killing a couple thousand people a year. I don't think it has been below 1,000 since I was fucking born. So if you think about that, that is somewhere between 40,000 and 80,000 people
That's disgusting.
in my lifetime. And that That makes me sick. That's too many fucking names. Like, there was a time period when I was like, what if I, like, to raise awareness, tattooed all the names on me? And then I was like, oh, that's ridiculous, dude. You're like 4'11". There's not enough space on you. Like, I don't think you could put it
Yeah.
on a, like, we could go to the freaking Empire State Building and probably cover it.
Seriously. It grow, like you said, it grows every single day, and it's going to continue to. And here in Phoenix, like, we say things like defund the police and abolish the police, and yet, like, here we are. Like,
Is
our
Phoenix not the
new,
most violent in the country?
exactly. Like, Phoenix is one of the most violent cities in the country, if not the most violent. And our protests are, like, I want to say we were the last protest for that year, one of the
We
last
were,
protests for
yeah.
that year.
I
And it's-
didn't see any after.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. It's like, how are we sitting here and allowing this to happen? But then when you think of all of the political persecutions, how they're going after Black and brown community organizers, how
Mhm.
they arrest people willy-nilly and slap them with bullshit charges just to release them in 12 hours, but, like, leave them with something that follows them their whole entire life. Like, it starts to make sense. Like, they do
Yeah.
all this shit on purpose.
And
And
specific
anybody who
release
stands
conditions.
up against it, no matter what color they are, they go after all of them too. They go
They
after,
really do. No, yeah,
Yeah.
they really do. I
like,
mean,
if
here
you
in
want to
Phoenix,
fight for people, you're gonna have to give up a portion of your life and your legal rights. Like, I don't acknowledge governance, so I do whatever I want. Which is probably one day gonna end up putting me in a real bad position. But it doesn't matter who you are if you try to fight them over this stuff. Like, they're defensive of their monopoly on violence.
yeah, no, that's honestly the truth. It's all systematic. They know exactly what they're doing. It's all with purpose. It's discouraging as fuck in Arizona, especially because we're so fucking big. It almost feels like it's like, if we can't get this ball rolling now, then what will? But thankfully, like, we're starting to see it. Like, I want to say the year of 2020 really fucking left a lot of marks on people, and hopefully some of those marks will continue to grow. And yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No,
Hope
no,
it
that's
sticks.
yeah.
We have a big problem where in our history, when things get to a boiling point, we riot and scream, and then they give us a bunch of, like, fake things or things that are not actually helpful or things that look nice, and then they spend the next, however long it takes us to boil up again, just dismantling as much of it as they can.
They did
And-
that here with the Office of Accountability and Transparency that was voted on by City Council to be fully funded, and then it was never created. So they
Yeah.
got everyone to shut up for a little while, and then it literally nothing ever came of it. So
yeah,
what,
and that worries me personally, but that's not just a Arizona thing. That seems to be an everywhere thing, where I don't think people really understand that. I mean, protests are great and they raise a lot of awareness, but you have to do a lot more than just protest,
Oh, 100% agree.
You got to be out there screaming about it, or nobody's gonna freaking even acknowledge the problem at this point. Like, asking nicely doesn't work anymore.
No, these people will not do shit for you until their arm is twisted behind their back. And that's the unfortunate reality that we live in. But, like, we're settling for peanuts, and we need to stop. We're dying. COVID has killed so many people on top of the police. And it's just, we need more. We need to start demanding more, and we need to stop being so okay with just accepting the little things that are thrown at us. This is getting ridiculous. It's tiring as fuck.
So I'm trying to just remember the facts. I believe, was it 17 people were arrested?
18?
18? So that means that there were like 20 people that left the park, 18 got arrested, and only myself and the other photographer got out. So how did that go for you guys? Because I know you guys got bullshit charges and bullshit terms of release, and They accuse you guys of
Yeah.
being a gang. Do you want to talk about that at all?
A gang.
Yeah. Yeah. Those gang charges.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because they advised us all to not associate with each other because it could make us look like a gang. And we were like, okay, well, we literally spend all of our time together. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell are we going to do?
So you guys are like friends outside of the activism as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
that's
met
cool.
through this.
But I guess that kind of like gave them something to try and twist on you guys, which kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask was, before you guys got involved in this, did you guys, are you guys like all cops, or are you guys ACAB people, or are you like most cops are bastards, or like how do you guys feel about
Nah,
that?
all
Are
of them.
you
Every
all
last
cops?
fuck them.
Everyone.
Fuck the police.
That's the
Sweet.
name of our gang.
That's what we like to hear.
Your gang name is Fuck the Police. I can get behind that.
No, it
How do
wasn't
we-
it M. Wasn't it the ACAB gang? Isn't that what they tried saying?
The
Yeah,
ACAB
they-
gang.
I believe they alleged
gang,
that your
yeah.
colors were black bloc.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good
Yeah.
lord, y'all are the largest gang in the nation. Actually, you're not just in the nation. Like, holy crap, y'all are in Hong Kong? Fuck me.
Hey, you guys have people in like Myanmar right now? Who'd have thought that?
We've actually done a couple episodes explaining what Black Bloc is and why people use it and how people use it and its history, because there's so many people who don't understand that. They think that Black Bloc is like a group of people or something, and I'm just like, no, it's a practice.
It's not as much a group of people as polos are a group of people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like beekeepers wear beekeeper suits, protesters wear Black Bloc. It's part of the gear. Like, you know, when I go out there, I put on my freaking Aloha shirt and my freaking gear and everything like that. Other people put on Black Bloc. Like, honestly, I can't. There's nothing for me to hide at this point, so it wouldn't do me fucking good, anyways. But, and I'm like the shortest person in Little Rock, so
So
I'm
with
not.
you
But
guys-
I'm easy to pick out. So like I have okay.
Oh yeah.
What, like, watching that fucking blows my mind. And if this is if this is hard to talk about, I understand. But what was it like to be brutalized by your own government's foot soldiers like that? Like, what were you guys thinking?
Well-
I've been arrested before, so I mean, the same shit.
Well, had
Yeah.
any of the rest of you guys been arrested too, or was this just
Oh, yeah.
another Tuesday, or like what is it like
I've been
to
arrested
just
a few times.
realize that these people are just like, I don't know, like I can only imagine what you guys went through, because I've not actually been arrested like that. I mean, I've had them turn on us as groups and stuff, and it blows me away, even though I know they're pieces of shit already.
So when I was arrested
So-
for unrelated things, like I got arrested for a traffic thing back when I was 20. They treat you a whole lot differently than they treat you when you're actively protesting against them, for sure.
And then to answer your question of like what was going on through our heads, to confess, my father is unfortunately a QAnon Trump supporter.
Oh God.
Yeah. So me being a minor, I ran away, and I was about like a good 30 miles away from home, and I was living with my sister. And so the first thing that went through my head as soon as I knew we were all going to get arrested was, now I have to go home. That was it, to be honest. And then, well, I mean, they brutalized me. They like gave me a black eye, dislocated my shoulder. But my worry was just like not being able to come back out with the group. But it all sorted itself out in the end. We're good.
So
Yeah, why don't you
everybody
tell
who was
them?
arrested
Why
is
don't you
good
tell them
now.
how you
right?
sorted
I don't mean to like sidetrack here, but like, hold on, I need to sidetrack. What is it like living with somebody who is just like, I mean, like, were they one of the real deep QAnons, or
Oh
were they
my
just kind of
Oh,
like, what is it like having to deal with that? Because like, These people
How?
are wild in their.
He was deep into that. Like, it's insane. Imagine the side I'm on right now, like how Em was talking about how we're far left.
Yeah.
The exact opposite of everything I stand for would be him. The exact opposite. Like, he's the farthest right you can get in the person.
Yeah.
And by left and right, now I gotta ask you guys to define that, because usually in this parts when we say left and right, we mean economically, or even maybe socially. But what do you guys mean when you say left and right?
So this man is actively a white supremacist, pretty
Yes.
much.
So are you guys using the like left is like more anarchy and right is more like fascism and
I suppose more of a moral
authoritarianism?
compass, maybe. Is that what you meant, Lucy?
Like on a social scale where left is more progressive and right is more conservative, he's on the far end of the right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more of a social scale. Okay, cool. I needed to define that because like that gets confusing to people because so many people define this in so many different
We've
ways.
got some weird people. We've got like progressive people who want capitalism. We've got conservative people who want communism. It's all weird here.
Yeah.
I kind of like that variety.
Yeah, it's a grab bag on at this table typically. Like we have everybody here is like either a minarchist, which is like small government, or or an anarchist, which is like no government. Typically on our team and stuff like that. But like we have people who come from economic left all the way to the freaking right and socially as well. So like we got a wild pack of craziness in here.
Normal
I think
people
that's how it-
descriptors like left and right they just fall apart once you enter this sort of sphere.
It kind of does. That's why I had to be specific on that. But like, are they still QAnon, or did they kind of like back off of that after the whole January 6th thing?
Well, when I was arrested and he picked me up, he apologized to the cops and we didn't speak all the way there. So I haven't spoke to him since. But I know that when Trump lost the election, he was like mumbling under his breath on the inauguration day. He was like, I never thought this would happen. I thought we were going to fix this. It was fucking hilarious.
Well, I mean, I guess that's
you
what you get for trusting the plan. Because, like, I feel like that was on purpose. Like, they took people who were unhappy and convinced them all to do nothing. It was a genius. But, fuck them. Like, it was a disgusting kind of genius. An insidious attack upon people who were primed to be victims of manipulation, and it makes me really sad that they can just twist people up like this. But it's because they have control of the media, they have control of the law, they have control of basically everything at this point.
It's honestly fucking nuts that people died over that shit. Like I still can't wrap my mind about it, or mind around it. Sorry.
So like. Well, you mentioned earlier release conditions, saying that you guys, couldn't exercise your First Amendment rights. And because it was a pending felony charge, because it was the gang stuff, you guys lost your Second Amendment rights because of it. So what were those conditions, like, as specific as you guys want to be? Like, I know you guys haven't gone out since then yet, at least. So, like, what were those, and where did they leave you in your activism?
Since we were like the last group that didn't have charges that was still going out, it just shut everything down. We knew that if we set foot back in the street that we would be arrested and held until trial. And you know how long, I think our trial before our charges got dropped was pushed off till the end of June. So yeah, that stopped us in our tracks pretty quick, and we had to kind of switch over to like the back end sort of activism and harassing city council like every couple weeks. And yeah.
One of the weirdest release conditions was that some of us had to give up our DNA.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Really?
Yeah, they tried to take it illegally at the police station even. I turned them down when they asked for mine, and even called them out on lying to me because they tried to hide what the paper that they were trying to get me to sign for it. They tried to hide the header, so I couldn't tell what I was signing for.
So wait, is that a blood test? Because I know some places in the valley.
It's a DNA swab.
Okay, so they do a
Saliva.
swab.
I
Yeah,
hope y'all's lawyers are on top of that. Or were
they.
on top
Oh,
of that.
yeah. They tried to threaten me with extra time even when I refused. They
They
told me
told
that
me
I
I
would be held longer.
I'm
they
glad
told me that I
you-
would not be getting out if I did not give my DNA up.
For some reason,
Which
I
is
got away
illegal.
without giving mine.
Yeah, that is not. I don't think that's legal at all.
But they don't care about legality. They
They are the law.
Who are you gonna call? The cops?
Yeah. And
holy
then,
cow! Did you guys end up giving it to them, or
so as a term of my release, I had to give it up within 5 days of my release, or else I was going back in. So eventually, I did have to, but they took some people's illegally. Do you know if they took anybody else's besides yours? I want to say they did.
They did. Shit, I don't even remember who I was in major case with because they had us all separated, but they took at least 3 other people's that I was in there with.
They didn't get mine.
Some people they didn't ask for. It just honestly it seemed kind of inconsistent, like they didn't know what they were
you'd
doing.
think if that was like a policy or something, they would have asked everybody. Instead, they just cherry picked people out of the crowd, I suppose.
I refused, and then they didn't ask me again.
That's
Huh.
fucking nuts. Yeah,
And
the hell?
it was not one of my release conditions either.
Damn.
So what else was there besides forfeiting your DNA?
Yeah.
No use of illegal drugs, of course.
Yeah, just basically no breaking the
Highlighting
law.
more victimless crimes.
And
You can't
no
do
going
anything.
no going near Phoenix headquarters.
which means
Oh, yeah,
that was our
the-
usual protest.
Also,
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
away from
so-
the officers
Wait,
that
what did
were
they-
involved.
What do they define as near the Phoenix Police Headquarters? Because that's really central in the city. Like, you can't
Yeah.
go anywhere without passing there.
I think if you get like stopped within the area, you could even get in trouble for it.
Like, within that block.
Yeah, because they'll just hit us with a conspiracy to commit a crime like they did
Yeah.
when we got released. We got our original charges before we were indicted. A lot of us got conspiracy to commit aggravated assault on an officer.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, didn't do anything but thought about it.
You know, thought crime. That's not 1984 at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And there was no violence at all. And I want to say,
What?
because I saw the whole thing, and this isn't them like trying to stay away from it. I know for a fact there was no violence towards the officers. There were people there there was a person there who had who was open carrying, and they were responsible. They didn't like point a gun at anybody. There was zero threat towards the police. Hell, you guys left lanes on the road open so normal traffic could get by.
We like to be respectful.
Yeah.
So you
Out of
weren't just
curiosity.
protesters, you were polite protesters.
we wanted to fuck the cops night up. Like we didn't everybody
Yeah.
else in downtown Phoenix, like enjoy the show, I guess. We're not trying to stop you from going home.
People were watching from the bars as you
Yeah, that was
So-
intentional. We planned that route because we
We wanted them to see.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, like, do you guys think, hypothetically, if there had been more armed people there, that they would have done what they did?
No.
Because
I
a
believe
lot of
more
times I've
guns.
seen. I'm sorry.
Well-
I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No. But I think I might kind of know where you're going with this, but my personal belief is, and in Arizona, it's so crazy because we have really relaxed gun laws, so I definitely think there should be more of them. But my personal belief is if you show up to a protest and you have like 10, 15 people in the front or in the back carrying guns, the cops are not going to fuck with you as much as they fuck with us now. A lot of the shit that they do to us now is illegal. They are not going to fuck with us like that if we have like 10, maybe even like 5 people open carrying with big ass guns. Like that's
Stay
my
strapped or
personal
get
belief.
clapped.
Yeah, I think it's safer.
So long as everybody knows what they're doing, right? No accidental
Exactly.
discharges. What about the rest of you guys? Do you guys all feel the same way, or?
Kind of. I haven't been in Arizona for that long, so it's kind of weird for me to see people open carrying at protests.
Yeah,
Back in
it's a little
California, like
weird.
cops are looking for guns.
Well,
And
to be honest, what I've heard about happening in California makes me wish that they all carried guns too, though.
Shit that they were able to get away with when nobody's able to fight back, right?
Seriously.
So, and back to the gun things, and I know that if you have a sorry, if you have that felony charge, you lose your right to like you can't even purchase a firearm if you have a pending felony charge, while as long as it is still in the court system and it hasn't been dropped yet. So how has that affected you guys? Because I know that you guys do believe in, at least to an extent, being armed at the protest as a means of self-defense against the state. Has that harmed you guys at all? I know, have people had their firearms confiscated at all?
no, they can try to come take my shit, but they're not going to get very far.
Well, on Lib.
Oh shit.
Fuck around and find out.
Working, that sounds like conspiracy to
Yeah,
commit.
so I hate.
we had no feds here. I think everybody on our team is very vocal that if they try to grab our guns, they'll get the ammunition first.
Yeah, one at a time. I'm not giving shit up.
Back the blue.
I
Oh
want
my
to say
God.
you might know people who had their guns confiscated, but I'm not sure.
I do, yeah. I'm close with people who've had their guns confiscated, and we're told that they can't get them back until they've been found not guilty or charges are dropped. So,
And Phoenix Police was holding their guns, correct? I remember that.
yeah, he still has, I believe he still has a gun, but yeah, they're not gonna like come get it from him.
But the ones that were carried out the protests have been confiscated, as well as body armor was taken from people too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's totally
like,
legal to have
body
body
armor.
armor.
They took their
Well,
body
apparently-
armor.
It's not actually.
If you commit a felony with body armor on,
you get a
like-
separate charge.
yep, you're in big trouble.
Which
Isn't it
is
a separate felony
ridiculous
as well?
because I mean, like, I guess if you're a felon, they want to be able to kill you easier.
Yes, exactly.
Fucking
Seriously.
assholes.
Fucking
Like,
messed up.
First they take away our means to shoot back, then they take away our means to not get shot.
well, I mean, I hope people out there can see what direction this is going. Like, they
Well, yeah,
wanna
as long as you.
yeah. Well, and it's not just an attack on our guns either. They're doing an attack on the economy as well. Like, they're taking out small business and they're taking out guns and they're making it to where the last shreds of self-sufficiency that we have open to ourselves are taken away from us as quickly as possible. And I don't think that COVID is fake. I do not. But I see them taking advantage of it, just like they've taken advantage of every other freaking horrible thing that's happened. Like anytime something bad happens, they come in with their agenda, not doing their jobs.
They don't care about saving people's lives. They care about control. If they cared about saving people's lives, less people would be dying.
Well,
They just want to keep the machine running. The way to do that is to keep us dependent on them.
Never
basically.
waste a good tragedy, man. Yeah. Same thing they did with 9/11. Same thing they've done with every shooting. Same thing they're doing with COVID is they just want to tighten their grip.
Yeah. And it's
So, like,
ridiculous
So,
that
and
they
again,
will give
r-
people
just so
these
everybody knows,
felonies and
felony
shit.
charges are not a joke.
Yeah, and they'll give you these felony charges, send you to jail. You'll do your time, and be released back into society. And I mean, this is probably a broken record, but like they take your rights away from you. They deperson you. Like I don't believe in voting, so it wouldn't really bother me if they said I couldn't vote. I'd just be like, whatever, fuck you, I don't vote anyways. But the fact is that a lot of people believe in that. And believe that that is their voice, and they are literally taking your voice away from you, your ability to choose. They take your ability to protect yourself. They take your ability to get a normal job, sometimes housing. Like your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness is wrecked for the rest of your life. It's ridiculous. They do
And
this.
that's not
to
even to mention what happens when you're in prison.
yeah.
Yeah, Phoenix PD actually went a step further with me personally because I work in the ER, and we interact with the cops a lot. They bring people in custody, and the Phoenix police actually contacted my work directly to inform them that an Antifa was among them.
Wait, did they use the
Antifa?
terminology an Antifa, like
An
a singular,
Antifa, like yes,
a
they
singular
actually said,
Antifa?
yeah, a singular
fucking
Antifa is among you.
I
And
didn't know that they called you Antifa. That's
Yeah.
fucking nuts.
So, are you guys Antifa? Are you part of BLM or anything? Or are you just like there to help your community and just people?
Well, I'm
I'm
an
anti-fascist.
anti-fascist.
I'd hope
Well,
everybody is anti-fascist.
I think I hope yeah, I would hope everybody here is probably anti-fascist. If you're not, I mean, like if you're pro-fascist, put your hand
Then
up.
just look up our show.
We'll find you. Put your hand up. We'll find you. I mean, in Minecraft, allegedly.
Roblox.
Yep.
So they took your DNA. They basically told you shit that wasn't true and all this other stuff. And I've heard so many freaking horror stories about being in there. Like, did you guys get like roughed up and shit like that? Like, were they super rough with you guys, like they have been with some other some of the other protesters that have been arrested that I've talked to?
Well,
The cops?
while we were in there,
Yeah.
like in 4th Ave,
Yeah,
Yeah, like in custody. Once you were in custody,
custody.
we know they were rough when they arrested
we know they were rough when they arrested you.
Yeah.
Like, that shit makes me want to freaking shit nails. I'm fucking
well,
well,
the
we
big,
did kind of witness something while we were there.
Would you like
Which
to
was
talk
kind of
about that?
crazy. Well, yeah.
are you
It was
referring
kind of
to,
the
When they were
woman who
taking the
walked
lady's
in.
blood.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts.
oh yeah, I
Um,
heard about
Fucked
that.
up.
We witnessed, it was kind of nuts because we were literally in there to protest shit like this, but we witnessed a woman who was a Black woman who came into I want to say at that point we were at the precinct on Central, I want to say.
Yeah, Central City.
And they forcefully tried to take her blood. And she was denying them, and she was screaming, and she was saying that she knew her rights, and they did not give a fuck. And it was literally like unfolding right in front of us. We were all in the cells, like we had perfect like view, and we could hear everything that was going on. And
wow.
yeah, that was fucking mind-boggling.
And they did that right in front of you guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're not even hiding anything anymore.
nope.
Oh, Jesus, that's
Not at all.
freaking crazy.
Yeah, custody was pretty wild. We at Central City, there's a big long bench with a metal bar behind it, and they had, because there were so many of us, they had us all lined up. Like half of us were handcuffed to the wall, and then there were people in cells that are supposed to be for individuals, like they're individual cells, holding cells. But then when the minors had to come take their mugshots, they crammed 5 of us.
There was a lot of us in there.
Yeah,
There was,
5 of us in a single person cell, and mind you, we're covered.
So much for COVID.
Yeah, we're covered in OC spray, so we're coughing and sneezing and coughing and sneezing, and
we
like
were dying.
taking turns at the little window to breathe like fresh air.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts. That whole time, the whole time in jail, that OC gas, which I kind of contribute, I think in the very beginning when we were put in those tiny cells, I think it made it 10 times worse
Oh,
being so
bad.
close to each other. My hands were on fire for like the next 3 days and were just red and like super dry. And it's like, it's going to be super crazy when we hear about all the shit that's in this gas. And like in the next few years, seeing what comes out about it, it's going to be fun.
What pissed me
Because
off
we
the
breathed in
most,
a lot of it.
yeah, was hearing the fucking cops complain about the OC when we were in custody. They were like bitching about it. I'm like,
And
bro.
they had fucking gas masks. Come on.
Well, not even, but you sprayed us, motherfuckers. Like, like you're
like, this is
complaining
your
about
fault.
it. Next time, maybe go a little bit easier. Like,
It's like shooting somebody and complaining about the recoil.
seriously, the one good thing that came about that is there's a little clip in some of like the evidence that we got of like a cop crying because somebody sprayed him in the fucking face. And it's like, that's what you get, you bastard.
Love it.
Can
Yeah,
you
it's like,
find this
good,
clip
good,
and send it to
Jesus.
me?
I will. I need to dig through and find that. It was real good.
So what else? So you guys, we saw this, Mike. If you want, you can show some of the other images from the thing. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys went through the protest. You're in custody. You're mistreated. You see other people being even more mistreated. After you guys, because you guys all got out relatively quickly, if I remember correctly.
About 12 hours.
Around like 2. Yeah, like 2 the next afternoon or something.
It was like
So-
18, I think.
I was in contact and I'm like, oh fuck, tell me they gotten out. So that you guys all were able to get out of custody eventually.
Almost all.
Almost all.
all of
Is
us.
anybody still being held?
No, well, not from that day. Phoenix police did have a political prisoner, Sue, who goes by the name Sue. They were kept for like 2 weeks. There was a big campaign to get them out, and they ended up releasing them, but it was complete bullshit. Held them because they dared protest again after getting arrested from a previous protest.
And
So
I
exercising your rights.
I
Yeah.
filmed the arrest before I knew them.
Yeah,
I filmed their first arrest as a bystander because they
Oh,
threw
wow.
a like half empty water bottle into the street. Like it didn't come near a cop, it didn't touch a car, and a Phoenix police car like slammed on its brakes, and officers came out and started screaming and chased after them and like bashed their head into a light pole. I have the whole thing on video. I'll like pin it
Oh,
on my Twitter
wow.
or something. But
So-
yeah.
Fuck. So they did get out. The protested managed to get them. They got
after
out?
about after 2 weeks, I want to
2
say.
weeks of being held as a political prisoner. They finally were able to
Yep.
get out.
Without, they were
so-
drugging them with Klonopin while they were in there. They
Are
were.
you serious?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. At their previous arrest, they like forced them to give DNA, like literally held their mouth open and forced them to. Like Phoenix Police is a fucking horror show, like just a fucking horror show.
That's crazy. Like,
Mhm.
this is just making me mad all over again. Like, I don't personally believe that we can fix this through the system anymore. I think that it's gone so far that these people will just do anything. They do anything that they freaking want. They don't try to de-escalate. They just go straight to violence. And like the people who we have to go through to get these changes, they don't care. They've been watching this happen this whole fucking time, and they haven't been listening to people. They aren't held responsible either, which makes it partially our fault. But like, I'm not gonna victim blame here at this point because they do know better, and people have been trying to raise their voices, and it's not working. I really wish there was a way that we could push them to do something, but do you guys as individuals, do y'all believe that we can change it through the system still, or do you think
No.
that it's gonna get worse and worse until like people snap?
I
It's just
think
gonna
the system. No, you go, Sparky.
It's just gonna keep getting worse. It's not made to work for
Exactly.
most people. It needs to be burned down, and something better needs to replace what we have.
I love that picture. But yeah, that's
I do too.
It's a bit
Not
blurry.
gonna
I could
lie.
have gotten a better picture.
Well, you were new, and this was a really good picture for
To
your
be
skill
fair, I
level
was
at the
still
time.
shaking. I was still shaking a little bit from when y'all mobbed me. But
Yeah.
But yeah.
let's do that.
so everybody got out eventually. That campaign worked. And what's the status
Hold
now?
on.
Where are you guys
wait,
now?
hold on. Before we go on
Oh.
to where are we now, like, kind of like in the line of things. One of the things I've noticed happening to people who are involved in these protests and arrested, they throw the effing book at people and give them like huge bails. Did y'all have that problem? Were they, because they're not appropriate bails that they've been giving people who are participating in these protests? You guys feel like they tried to screw you there too?
We all
Because like
got
it seems a
OR.
trip.
We got
You all got what?
released on our own recognizance. Yeah, that's sorry.
No bail. Basically, we promised to show up to court.
Yeah,
You just pinky promised, and
we got a little lucky. But I guess because they did take our DNA, like they were definitely going to come for us one way or the another.
no.
Well,
So
what were you,
that's an ordeal.
yeah.
And then we are super lucky to have like really good bail funds in Arizona. I'm not sure if like your state has something like that, but if something like that is in your community, those things, that's a huge resource.
We did in the height of things. Unfortunately, things started to die off here. And like there's still action going on, but no protests really. You know what I mean? But thankfully there's still stuff going on. It's just not a protest situation or anything like that. So people, it looks dead. It's not, but it looks dead. It gave way to Stop the Steal and stuff like that, and there was a lot of those rallies, and now those have all died off too. I don't know, man. I worry about Arkansas is a sleepy state, and it fucking kills me.
And Arizona for a little bit there wasn't sleepy. I was down there in May a couple of days, and there were people. I was there in August, and there were, I believe AZ Family said there were like 20 people or something retarded like that. I counted 70 when you guys left the park, when Bruce Franks Jr. had that in August 9th. And I saw all these protests, and I saw people out there, and I thought, like, fuck, we might actually get somewhere. But then y'all got arrested, and more got arrested, and more got arrested. And then here we are where there's nobody left to protest. There's no, hell, most of the journalists have gotten tired of going out there. And by the time that your guys' protest happened, it was just me and one other person who were even covering the thing. I'm not counting Jen because that's not journalism, that's propaganda. So
Yeah.
like people just got tired. So
that, and they were afraid
coming up? And yeah, and fear obviously of being persecuted because they know what Phoenix police does, and they're not afraid to shoot people. Like people will die if they go out there and they're anything more than polite towards our government overlords.
100%. I think fear was the biggest thing that we heard from people, is that nobody wanted, like nobody, especially right now, nobody can afford to fucking get arrested. That's a huge process to ask of people.
Yeah. And the fact that, and just so you know, the fact that you guys were, and even the people who did get arrested who weren't able to be here, the fact that you guys were willing to put that on the line for this is like fucking props to you guys. Like we need people like you to go out there and fight the system and yell all cops are bastards so they know that we're not going to take this quietly.
If no, like somebody, it's a big, it costs a lot, but somebody has to be willing to pay the price to make some change. Otherwise, we're gonna just stew in this and it's continue to get worse. People who are out there continuing to scream against it and to work against it in the, like behind the scenes and everything like that, y'all are holding the goddamn line. Like everybody who's out there trying to push back and against the government, and it's not just the people who are like out there against the cops, it's the people who are out there against the dangerous levels of lockdown, people who are out there against, like things that are being forced on people whether they need it or not, like there's the people who are out there protesting against the rampant pedophilia in our country. Like there's so many things to protest about right now. ICE, people are out there protesting ICE. People are out there protesting for freeing our healthcare and for free healthcare. Like it's all over the place. People are constantly out there. And the reason why I'm going on this rant at this point is I saw over there in the comments someone was saying that, like, this just proves that nobody's willing to fight. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Because we have people out there on the ground still every day across this nation. It may be one or two people at a time sometimes, but people are still willing to fight. And I mean, that's beautiful to me. And I don't think that we should forget that.
Yeah, we definitely haven't stopped just because we're not being seen out in the street anymore. Like we've stayed in contact, all of us, of course, and we've just had to take kind of a back end sort of approach and go through, city council meetings and whatever we can
Mutual aid.
Mutual aid is a
huge one.
Huge one. But we were trying to find ways to like do this while our charges were pending and while we had all of this going on. But I don't want to speak for everybody, but now that our charges are dropped, like, expect to see us.
We're getting the fuck out there.
But here's the question: are you guys gonna oblige?
What? I mean, at this point, how can we? If we give up now, what is that saying about anything that we've been doing? Like, Phoenix PD.
You guys have already given so much. Is there much that they can take from you?
No. Honestly, no. There's nothing. This is it. For a lot of us. Yeah, no, for a lot of us, I mean, for me personally, after 2020, there's not much you can take.
Yeah. There really isn't. And I mean, like, it drives me crazy. And I call them normies, like just the people floating by in their life, doing their thing still and pretending everything's fine. It blows me away that this is all happening. And it's even on the news and stuff. You can't actually say you don't know it's happening. And people are just letting it happen too. I mean, like, that's very demoralizing. And I think that's why a lot of people feel like nobody is willing to fight. But holy crap, every day there are people out there. And it just, man, I respect the hell out of you guys for still being willing to go out there and still being willing to put it on the line to do this stuff.
Yeah, I'm ready to go back to 4th Ave. I don't know about you guys.
Some spicy air.
Some spicy air. Let's go.
I'm not in a cool kids
Spicy
club.
air.
I'm not allowed to go there yet.
You guys got your twisted teas ready? You got your twisted teas ready?
Stay strapped or get clapped. Remember the mantra, folks.
If anybody remembers, I like my breakfast burritos for jail support. I don't know if you guys do jail support where you're from, but over here we wait with breakfast burritos and cigarettes. Anyways, I like menthols and chorizo.
We'll make a list. Be like, hey, care package incoming.
Seriously.
So you guys are going to be back out there, and God, I can't fucking wait till I get to cover a protest that isn't Trump supporters.
Yeah, I've said it before that even if it's, I mean, Lucy and I talked about this, even if it's just her and I screaming in the street, like, we'll be out there. And right now, I think our main focus is just getting the rest of these charges dropped for everybody else.
100%.
Yeah, because we need the people back. We need everybody to have.
We need our community back.
Yeah,
for everybody who's on the fence, who's thinking like who is afraid to go out there, like, you're not alone. There are people who are willing to go out there with you and who are willing to fight for your guys' freedoms. And like, if that's all you need, then if you just are afraid that you're going to be alone when you're out there, you won't be. There are always going to be people.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true. Sometimes you have to be the only one who stands.
There always maybe you'll be the only person on the street, but there will always be people who will stand with you.
There will always be a Max just waiting with his amazing camera.
Yeah. I'm
glad y'all didn't beat him up.
An iPhone.
Oh God, I always worry about everybody who is out there on the streets and stuff like that, but I mean, I think that's natural because I'm a warrior. Like that's what I do. But yeah, it's amazing to see y'all out there doing this stuff. Now, not getting beaten. I didn't like watching that. I hated watching that. That makes me want to just, I don't know. When I saw it, I was like, maybe we should all just go to Arizona. Like everybody. Let's all go to Arizona.
Aw.
Like,
I remember when I first saw it, because like when I took it, I wasn't really paying that much attention to what I was seeing because of the pepper balls that were flying past me when they missed you guys.
yeah.
But like I think you heard it in the video. There was a few that like hit the rail, a couple that hit you, and then one just like whizzed right past my head, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna skip. But after I saw that, I backed up, and I do want to say, I think I mentioned this before, but just for completion's sake, there was a man who was trying to watch the protest, who they said was too close, which is funny because I was a solid like 6 feet closer than he was. And when I was actually recording that, I was like 5 yards closer than he was. He was still 50 feet back, but they shoved him down like concrete stairs onto the sidewalk because he went back up, and like 4 officers mobbed around him. And I saw that shit, and I took some pictures there. But after everything was said and done, I sat down in the car and I looked through all the footage, and I watched that video, and it just hit me like, holy fuck. I wasn't able to pay attention in the moment. I didn't realize what I was seeing. But when you see that video, it's like, that's what they do. Our money is being stolen from us and given to those people to pay them for their service of beating the shit out of innocent people.
Yeah. It is.
Go off,
all
Max.
Go
In a
off.
lot of places,
radical again.
the all those fines they give you for your victimless crimes and stuff goes to funding them too.
Yeah. So every
now our weed pays the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Jeez.
Your weed pays the cops. Well, your weed always paid the cops if you got caught and were fined. But then there's always rule number 1, which is don't get caught.
Yeah. It's amazing how they can get away with flipping. You know, like they're punishing people and putting all these restrictions on people before they even get found guilty of something. And it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in this nation, not guilty until proven innocent. And I don't understand how anybody is okay with the fact that they have literally flipped that table. In fact, most people are actually, personally, from what I've seen, most people are actually not okay with it, but they only notice it when it's against their sensibilities, which is one of the problems. Like, we don't have a consistent pushback from the whole table.
I agree with that. I think we see that every so often when our best friend Jen gets caught up because she likes to steal people's identities. That's
Jennifer.
But
Did she kick a trash can?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, she kicked it.
Jen, who chants "Back the Blue" at the Stop the Steal rallies, as me and the Boog Boys were heckling them as they played "Bad Boys" on the loudspeaker. She was chanting "Back the Blue," and then when she gets arrested, she kicks over a trash can and fucking has a fucking panic attack. And
then she hates the cops.
She was like bragging. She was in the middle of the circle with the microphone as everybody was around them with the flags. And she was like bragging about the fact that her pepper spray was all she could have because the cops took their rights. I'm thinking, like, how many people lost their rights, lost their guns in that protest that you were watching? And you were, I believe her exact words were, as she backed away to the adjacent corner in that intersection where you got arrested, she was chanting, "Get 'em, get 'em," as you guys got the shit kicked out of you. And then she turns around and has the audacity to complain about the police when it's happening to her.
Oh,
Jenny. I'm monologuing again,
Like,
aren't I?
So, do you guys usually have a lot of counter protesters out there and stuff? And do you guys think that they actually know what they're counter protesting? Because, like, that is something I've noticed out there. Like, they've got people so twisted around that they don't seem to know. They think they're protesting for one reason, and like then they end up just, I mean, to anybody who knows what's going on, it looks stupid. Like, I have literally seen people who were protesting the lockdown say that their enemy was, that their enemy was BLM. And I'm like, dude, BLM doesn't give a shit about your lockdown protest. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with the the only thing it has to do with the problem is that the police are enforcing it and actually brutalizing people over the lockdowns too. So, like, y'all have common ground, but aside from that, there's nothing that is opposed. Like, did y'all even read? Like, do you guys have any of those problems, or is it all a bunch of bootlickers who are there just to, like, support the cops and stuff?
I
Well,
don't think we.
Jennifer,
Well, no, yeah.
oof, Jennifer's like our number one fan. We've interacted with her pretty much every single protest that we've gone to, even like little shit. Like, we went to town council in Gilbert and she showed up, and we've tried like talking to her, arguing with her, and it's just, she's so fucking dumb. Like, it's not worth it.
She's very dense. Like, it's like the things that come out of her mouth is just like, you obviously have no idea what you're talking about. You're just like, fucking, this is your hobby. Like you just want to be like a fucking instigator. I have no idea.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
She's just there to watch and cheer on the cops, not knowing that they're coming for her next.
I mean, I think that some of it has to be that we have come into a societal moment where we hand-to-mouth information from the platforms that we agree with and take it as truth without even investigating into it. So, I mean, like, some of these people, I think they actually believe in what they're doing, but the problem is that they've been told that they're doing one thing, but they're actually doing another thing. Like, half of the Trumpers that I've met out there on the street would not be cool with fascism. And yet, they end up railing against the idea of anti-fascism because of the media. And they can't see themselves because they're so wrapped up. But the same thing happens on the left, of course, like, looking at and everything. And I mean the American left and right, which is not even actually a left and right thing.
The leftists who are anti-gun crack me up every once in a while. It's like, fuck our government. Cool. Should we fight back? Yeah. Okay.
With what?
Guns.
What?
Honey, grab an AK. It's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah. I mean, arm the proletariat, y'all.
Under no pretext shall arms and ammunition be surrendered.
But I definitely agree with you. I think a lot of like hardcore, even Trump supporting conservatives, if they really knew what fascism was and how to identify it, and what it leads to, they wouldn't agree with this shit. They'd honestly probably be right next to us.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen if they knew what the origins of America First was. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
They call themselves the Patriot Party when they don't realize that the OG Patriots shot cops.
Would fucking despise them. Like, that's the most
not only that
thing.
They quote Thomas Jefferson, but realize
and rioted and stuff like that too, and it's just.
And then all we hear is that rioting is bad and don't touch the buildings, and it's like, what the fuck? Like,
don't mess with people's buildings, but like the police station is fair game.
Yeah, like, I'm like, don't touch the common man's buildings, but like, definitely go after the corporativists and the government. Allegedly in Minecraft, allegedly
don't burn
in
anything unless you really can't stop yourself. Like, if you want to burn stuff, I'm not gonna stop you. You shouldn't do it. But like, hey, if you're gonna burn it, then
I'm not
wear
even
gloves.
gonna pretend. Like, at this point, if I saw people out there rioting and burning cop cars and not bothering everybody else's shit, I would allegedly in Minecraft totally help the fuck out of them.
Honestly, I don't feel bad about corporations getting their buildings fucked up that can afford to replace or like fix anything the next day or within the next week. I don't feel bad about that.
By the government anyway, they all get their big ass tax breaks. They don't have to pull their weight. So, like, if you're messing with a small business, yeah, that's kind of a dick move because they're your fellow people. But those big faceless corporations that are buying and selling basically politicians, then, like, you know what? Fuck them too. They're part of the system. They're part of the problem.
I also like to clarify that property destruction is not violence.
Well,
It's not.
Thank you for that.
Well, I would disagree. It depends. If you're destroying property belonging to the state, which we paid for with our tax money, well, hell, that's our shit. We can do what we want with it, right?
Damn straight.
That's what my point is. I believe when you guys asked me, I think the first question I was asked when I was being questioned by y'all was, is it peaceful to march on the roads?
Yeah.
And I remember my response was, well, we fucking paid for them, didn't we? There are
Yeah,
roads.
they're
Yeah,
mud
okay,
roads.
He's fine. let him pass.
Right? We cleared him.
They're like, okay, he's good.
I also think it's hilarious that you got approached by all the, well, I'm non-binary myself, but I think you first got approached by a bunch of girls.
Yeah,
Who, like,
Me, I love them. I was like, fuck this bitch.
Oh my god. So, okay, y'all gotta tell me this story anyways. How did you guys meet Max? I need to hear this story.
He was suspicious.
Oh
Sus
boy.
as fuck.
He was wearing a red shirt, and we're
Nervous.
very biased.
Yeah, we were
sure.
all at the park, kind of like. I was stressed. I was trying to, like, you know, send all my texts like, "Hey, I'm going to jail," and I think Lucy came up to me and was like, he's sus as fuck. Like, what are we gonna do?" I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. He's a kid. Like, what are we gonna
I think
do?
we
Fucking fight him?
I think we thought you were with, like, I don't know, Jennifer or something. Like,
Oh God.
there's
I
been a
need to
few
drop.
shady characters around where it's just you start to look for certain patterns. I
That
don't know.
started in Gilbert.
The red
Gilbert
polo
Manor.
might not have been a good idea. in
Might have not been.
Didn't think that through.
But to be fair, I had no clue what I was getting into. All I had was the information from the mutual friend. So I'm just like, go to the park. Okay.
Nice.
But I'm glad you guys were actually willing to go over there and question him instead of just beating him up. I would have probably been real upset about that. I'm kind of protective
that
of
would have
him.
been.
I'm like,
I mean, like,
oh,
I'm not saying I would have
come
thrown hands, but I don't know.
For that-
They'll fight each other at least.
Let's go right now. Rematch. Let's see how it would have turned out. Friendly fight.
I'll take you.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Mercy said, okay.
All right.
Just like,
gonna
one sec, let me get my
redirect
black block.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure if anybody else saw that comment briefly about normies being a liability and talking, but I think
Yeah.
it would kind of be a cool story to tell about our normie that started talking.
You mean
Because we had that when we
rat?
got arrested.
Might
Oh
grab
yeah,
the popcorn.
please do.
The fucking rat.
Getting juicy.
Ratley. Okay. Anybody want to take this, or should I? Because
I know, Em, you're real passionate about this.
oh,
Yeah,
I
that's on you.
love Ratley. Ratley is my BFF. So Riley Barons.
Oh gosh, name drop.
Whoops.
Oh no. He's all in the news, guys. Don't worry. He loves the spotlight.
He does. He just had a story.
So we're
come
not
out
actually
less than a
doxing
month ago.
anybody, okay.
No. He's very vocal in the media. Got arrested with us, and at the park, when we realized that we didn't have like a huge group of people, we kind of circled up and we're like, all right, how are you guys feeling? Like, do you want to maybe like not take the streets? Like, what's the vibe? And he was the most vocal advocate of like, no, that's what we came here for, was to take the streets. Like, that's what we're here for. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, great. And then we got arrested, and come to find out, literally like a month later, it was the day after the election, the police report comes out. One of us gets our hands on the police report, and he fucking talked to the cops, pointed fingers, made all these ridiculous claims that weren't even true. Like, if
All
you're gonna be a fucking rat, like, at least have good intel, you know?
Yeah.
And
Or I mean, don't have bad intel, please.
He tried to
Yeah.
incriminate people, and the most fucked up part is he tried to incriminate our Black community organizer the most, I want to say.
yeah,
Didn't he?
Oh, sure.
Like, he tried to pin
Yeah.
him as a leader, which nobody leads, like, with us. That's fucked up. That is, you could have destroyed his fucking life. Like, fuck Ratley. Fuck him.
God damn.
Hashtag fuck Rack.
Yeah, no,
Let's
fuck
go.
those people. Like, I got no respect for that kind of shit at this point. Like, people who rat on people who are trying to push back and make some good, positive, forward change and shit.
but he's still in the media, like, talking about our charges, and I'm like, bro, you were literally you're a cop in my eyes. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
that's what
off.
I was about to say. That is exactly what I was about to say, basically. I'm like, you're just as bad. And fuck you. Like,
All rat
dude, you're
leader
a piece of,
bastards.
dude, you're a piece of shit. You got no fucking spine. And probably since he's in the media like he is, he's also probably a cloud chaser. You.
Oh,
Oh,
100%.
no, he's running for, like, he wants to be a politician. Yeah.
Oh.
Fuck
So
that.
he's not even human. I get it now.
No.
I think
That's
the
so
most
sad.
recent news story he did was about COVID because he got COVID or some shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
got
he did a
COVID.
whole story about how he got COVID, which,
He was on the
what was so
news.
special about it?
Nothing.
Just
Didn't like
because
half
he's
a million
black.
people die of it, and he didn't even die. What the fuck is with him?
I don't know.
About?
Oh wait, no, it's because he lied and he tried saying he was an athlete. He was like, "I'm a 20-year-old athlete, and I have."
When?
I'm like,
Literally,
bitch,
that
I
I've
was
never-
listening to you
You're
fucking
on
crying in the
Okay,
jail
we're just
cell.
roasting now.
Oh, guys, I know,
I'm like,
I
yeah,
know
we
how
just-
he's an athlete.
No,
Guys,
Ratley runs. He runs his fucking mouth.
I saw him sprinting to the cops to give them more intel the moment you guys said you're out. I think it's track and field.
Oh my god.
I love this.
This brings us all together.
Yeah, we so how we handled this information, because none of us were
Oh my
close.
God.
Yeah, this was great. None of us were really close with him. We didn't really fuck with him. But then this information came out, and we just so happened to all be together at a hotel, because we got a hotel room to watch the election together. And this all comes out as we're together, and we're like, oh, so we have to make some memes and like drag him to hell on Twitter. And it was like a 48-hour like cyberbullying campaign.
Oh my god.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, the
I
whole
remember.
community came together. It was something to behold.
There's even people we didn't know jumping on that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing a few of those going around, and oh my god, they were beautiful. I think that was even
smart.
before. I think that was before I was even in contact with you guys. But I even found out, like, in contact online, before I could track you guys down, and I still was able to bump into those because, like, hey,
It was everywhere.
it was
Yeah. Can I just say I always think it's amazing and hilarious how we're all just floating around the same spaces, just waiting to come together eventually.
You're just waiting for
sick.
something to happen, so we're like, okay, see you down there.
Where is it?
Right?
Let's go.
Like, that's who you are. Comrade.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, while we're chatting, I want to like let everybody know, hey, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to ask, like definitely ask them now, because like we will
But don't be a
probably
fed.
Yeah, don't be a fed about it. Like no one's gonna show you their butthole will get taken off YouTube.
We know our
Boy.
rights.
Boy.
But there was something somebody said here that's relevant to what we were talking about earlier, and they were like, you aren't hurting the big box stores when you burn them down. You're just hurting their employees. I'm about to give a hot take. People need to stop working for those companies. And if they have to be hurt in order to fucking get them to stop because they won't do it because it's the right thing, then, I mean, fuck them.
I agree
go
with
get
you,
new
but
jobs.
I agree
Like,
with you,
I
but
mean,
that's so
help
complex.
them
Like, there needs to
get
be a
new
safety
jobs.
net. Yeah.
Help your
Yeah, we need
community.
to empower
Like, yeah,
small
that
business.
safety net needs to be us. Like, we need to be
Exactly.
out there encouraging people to quit these large scale white market government serving large corporation jobs and looking
Support your
for
local
and
mutual aid.
either do your own thing, like make your own companies or go work for local shit or something. Like, but we can't just expect people to just quit their jobs and do this shit if we're not willing to help them, you know? So kind of fuck them, but also help them. Like, I don't feel bad. I won't feel bad about them getting hurt because their job is gone.
But we
I
also
mean,
have to be their mutual aid.
but I will
Yeah.
I will step in and yeah, like we have to be the community has got to be what helps the people, because the government steals money from us that they're supposed to use to help the people and they don't. They use it to bomb people and kids and all sorts of shit in other states. They use it to build terrorism. They use it to fund these cops that are fucking beating the shit out of us.
They terrorize people in other countries. They terrorize people in this country. They make terrorist organizations halfway across the world and then spend billions of dollars giving it over to Northrop Grumman so that they can destroy said terrorists.
So
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically the same thing I've said in the past, but like I remember saying this in like the opposite, like kind of in the opposite direction. I was like, hey, if you want people to push back against the lockdowns, you have got, and you want them to keep their businesses open, you need to support their fucking businesses. You need to be standing there with them when the police come, telling them to get the fuck out. You know,
Nobody's shutting down a
it goes
Walmart. They're
both
shutting down
ways.
the
We
local
have got
places.
to be there for each other. Do you guys have a lot of community outreach and stuff there in Phoenix?
We have Phoenix has mutual aid, which actually, if anybody in Phoenix, or if anybody is listening that's from Phoenix, a little shout out, because they would desperately need donations right now. So I guess it's not a big thing here. It's something that they've been doing for a while now, kind of been experimenting with. But yeah, they desperately need donations. They meet downtown in Heritage Square, I want to say every Saturday. And that's something that honestly every community should, I believe, should have and support, because the things that happen there, the families that we see that come through, it really impacts people's lives. There are a lot of people who really depend on that sort of thing. And there's going to be a lot more, honestly, as time continues.
And I just want to say
Yeah.
that it's really important right now, especially to start being consistent with being involved in mutual aid, especially in Phoenix as the temperature increases, because,
Yep.
you know, that's when it gets really dangerous here.
Especially for our homeless neighbors. Like
we keep
in
saying
Arizona,
that
that's so
buzzword.
important.
It is. We keep saying that buzzword, and it kind of like freaks people out sometimes. So, like, what to you guys? What is mutual aid? Could you guys would anybody here like to explain what mutual aid is to people who may not know what that means? Because it sounds like commie talk.
Yeah.
But it's really not, though. It's really not.
So mutual aid, okay, in the simplest forms, mutual aid is just like looking out for your neighbor and making sure that they have what they need. Like, I don't want my neighbor's kids to suffer and go hungry. If I have something that can help and support them, like, why not give it to them, especially when our government's not doing it. Like,
Uh-oh. Your microphone. Did your microphone pull?
Uh-oh, Craig got him.
Uh-oh. Craig got it. Craig got him. Got her. Oh, no.
We lost him.
Anybody else want to
Did
pick
we
it
lose
up?
him?
Oh, there you go.
Wait, there you're back. Okay, sorry, we lost you for a second there, like right as you started to. Oh, no. No, you're still
Guys, I
far
came to the
away.
rescue. I'm here. I don't know what happened. Something happened, but it gave out. I'm here though. So talking about mutual aid, I'm not sure exactly where I left off or what you guys heard last.
It was right at the beginning. We heard almost nothing.
Yeah, you basically
damn.
said you didn't want your neighbor's kid to go hungry, and then
And then it
Yeah,
went gone.
My apologies. So sorry. But no, yeah. I don't want my neighbors to go hungry. If I have something that could like benefit them, especially since our government is doing the bare minimum, if they're doing anything at all, like why not do it? Like that's just making sure. Like for example, I have a kid who gets really bad rashes when he uses regular diapers. We had to switch to cloth. I have a bunch of diapers at home. Bring them over to mutual aid. Now a family has diapers for like a month. Didn't cost anybody shit. I hardly went out of my way to do it. It's just simple things like that. Like it's honestly just looking out for your community. That's all it is, in the simplest way that you can. Whether that's offering a service, offering something that you have, offering your time, anything.
So this isn't like, no, you have to give us money. This isn't the government saying you have to give us money so we can help people. This is all like, give what you can, take what you need. This is all voluntary exchange. No,
like communities. Yeah, like communities used to do before the government stepped in and tried to make us completely reliant on them.
A monopoly on welfare. Charity can happen without the government, folks. Remember this.
Well, seriously, at this point, in order to seem like a legitimate charity, you have to go through the government and get all of their paperwork and everything like that, or people think you're just grifting.
And as someone who's worked with nonprofits before, there's a lot of things that they can't do. They have their hands tied as well. As soon as the government steps in, there's so many things you can't do anymore.
The government fucking things up? Man, never heard of that one before.
Exactly. And it's like, how do they expect us to help our communities when they put limitations on this like that? But then you start to realize that they really don't
want communities weak. Because if our community is weak, then we can't fight back. We can't stand up for ourselves and say, no, we're not going to let you do this shit to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And this isn't this isn't a communist thing. You can be the most hardcore laissez-faire capitalist in the world. I believe in a total, complete free market. But I also believe that it's my duty as a good person to help people out who need it.
Yes, exactly. And to arm the homeless.
And arm the homeless. 3D printer, go burr.
And feed them too. Feed your
arm
homeless.
And feed the homeless.
Well, okay, but like, if they're armed, then they can get all the bacon they need.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess.
A little too spicy for YouTube, maybe, but...
Maybe allegedly in Minecraft, perhaps.
You know, hunting javelinas. What do you think I was going to say?
Concrete Hades, arresting for helping the needy. That's actually a big, or not a big issue at Phoenix. I haven't experienced it personally in the times that I've gone, but that is an issue. I do know that mutual aid in Phoenix has been busted by the cops. If anybody can even fathom that, that's ridiculous. You can literally be arrested for making sure your neighbors have food that they need. It's bullshit.
That's a spread thing that happens in various places, and it makes me sick.
You need a license to give food to the homeless. You need to
be fair, though, in some of these places, like in Texas, people will literally arm up and then go help the homeless, which is great. I love that. Hell yeah.
Excuse
me while I violently feed the homeless.
But yeah, and in Texas, Dan was kicking ass, making sure that people who couldn't afford it got their health care. $12 for insulin, because American prices are so fucked up by our government and enabling these healthcare companies to charge whatever they want. So,
yeah, and there were people out there armed with him too, and nothing bad happened, thankfully.
But
yeah,
communities. Just be a community and stand up for your community is what I think we're all trying to say.
Yeah,
take care of retaliation for feeding people. I actually got ran over for doing that. That's right.
Seriously?
Yes.
That sounds like a story.
Oh, I've been ran over like 3 times, but this time I was in Phoenix, and I think it was We Rising. I almost want to say it was their event. And then the cops were trying to arrest us for being on their sidewalk, giving out resources over the fence. And so then they were singling me out, and so I ran. And that's when some freaking bootlicker just ran me over.
And this was at like the homeless lots downtown?
Yeah.
And Phoenix has a lot of like a large homeless community, and it's really devastating because like I don't think non-desert rats can really fathom how hot 120 degrees is. Like we've hit 128 before in our summers. Last year, I think we went months on end without the temperature going below 100 degrees. And imagine doing that without air conditioning.
Like I
You'll
remember
fucking
when
die.
it started
People
getting
die.
regular for it to be like, you know, like 118, 120 where I was. And like I went up to like the suburbs of Portland, and I was staying up there for a little while, and I laughed my ass. Like I felt genuinely bad because of my response, because they were being genuine and super worried, because they were like, you got to be careful out there today walking because this is the hottest day we have ever had. And I was like, really? Oh my God. Like maybe I should get, you know, like I'm sitting there thinking, you know, like should I get like my desert wrap and stuff like that while I'm walking so I keep the sun off me and everything? And I'm like, how hot is it? And they were like, it's 108 degrees out there, man. And I fucking literally hit the floor because I was laughing so hard. Because like, yeah, no, people can't fathom that kind of heat. It doesn't happen everywhere. And nobody outside of the desertous areas knows how to deal with it. Because like they're all in the heat, taking off their clothes and exposing themselves to the sun and all this other shit. And they're like, I'm hot, I can't wear anything. And I'm like, no, cover up, cover yourselves.
Yeah, you see a lot of people get sunburns in like December here.
They do.
There's no fucking clouds.
Well, to be fair, places that get lots of snow, they know that too. They know that sunburn in the summer.
And here's another big one. And I honestly, when you guys were all dressed head to toe in black bloc, I don't know how the fuck you did it. I was wearing shorts in October because it was, and I didn't have a water bottle either, so I was fucking dying. It was hot as hell. I think that night it was like 85. Something like that.
It felt nice that night. I remember that.
It was kind of nice.
I was fucking dying,
what, do you
and I was wearing
not have
shorts.
goth people in Phoenix or something? Is it?
No, we do, but usually they. Oh my God, I don't know how, but it's there's a lot. It was like 85 degrees in October, and I was wearing shorts, which is something that Mike has told me repeatedly not to do in case I get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
stop
tattoos,
exposing all your skin, Max.
But
I've been covered since summertime, if you can imagine that. Just
fucking hell.
Yeah.
I remember in one protest where BLM Phoenix Metro harassed me because there were some people in Hawaiian shirts, and I'm like, oh, are those Boog guys? Because I know Boog guys. And I went over and they're like, nope, we're just like basically conservatives. And I'm like, oh, well, fuck. And I tried to walk back and somebody like stopped me because they thought it was suspicious that I was doing my job as a journalist and getting both sides of the story. And, but there were people there in the summer who were dressed like fucking head to toe, totally covered. And Jesus Christ, more power to you guys. Good luck. Don't get heat stroke.
Yeah, lots of water. Lots of water.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else you guys want to bring up? Anything that you want to plug besides the mutual aid?
That was exactly what I was about to ask.
Yes, as a matter of fact. We're doing a week of action for the Drop the Charges MCAO. It's a hashtag on Twitter and Instagram. Like we said earlier, that our main priority right now is to get our people to have their charges dropped. So we're doing a text bank tomorrow. We had a bunch of videos that were posted today. And all the stuff that you saw with our arrest, all of the bullshit that we told you guys about what happened in 4th Ave and how fucked up the cops are, it's definitely not an isolated incident. And some of us were at the 8-9 protest where they're facing charges, and it was completely peaceful. I got a black eye from being there, and I watched them target these protesters, and it's fucking bullshit. So that's our main concern right now, is we have to get our people with their charges dropped.
Do you guys
I got
have
a
like
gun shoved in my face on
you guys
8-9
have
before the
local?
water bottle was even thrown.
That's
Allegedly, I
fucking
didn't see
Do you
it.
guys have like local legal funds to help getting these charges dropped and stuff like that out there? If y'all have like anything like Cash Apps or PayPal's or GoFundMe or anything like that that you can hand me, I'll put that in the description for the people who are watching it later.
I think
We'll
the
ask
main focus is
around.
attention, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any money
Wait, who
floating
bailed
around,
us
is
out?
there?
I know the number, but I don't know where the fuck that goes.
That's the
Look, you
legal.
guys,
There's a
if
legal
you guys
bill.
come up
That's
with
the
it
number I'm gonna try to
later,
get.
yeah, like if you guys come up with that later, hit me with it and I'll throw it out there to try and see if I can't get some people to help you guys out or at least spread it around or whatever.
But yeah, if you guys use the hashtag drop the charges MCAO on Twitter or Instagram, you'll see a bunch of shit that was posted today, yesterday, as well as MassLibAZ on Instagram. They're actually the ones kind of putting together the week of
It's
action.
drop the charges what?
MCAO, Maricopa County Attorney's Office.
Cool. I'm gonna put that down there while we're talking.
Thank you. That's amazing. Yeah. So MassLibAZ on Instagram is putting this together. There's a text bank tomorrow, and I don't know if we've talked about the ABC 15 investigation yet, but
Bisco.
yeah, Dave Biscobing is doing a really amazing job investigating our charges. He's actually, I would say, the reason that our charges got dropped in the first place. And
Seriously.
yeah, he's found all of this footage of them talking about how they want to stomp us, gas us, and he's investigating and shining a light on the targeted arrests of 8-9, and we're hoping that that will cause those charges to be dropped. So yeah, if you guys feel like you want to look into that, it'll be, I'm sure you'll find it under the hashtag drop the charges MCAO, but it's a pretty great investigation.
And yeah, and I never thought I would find myself supporting somebody who's part of the mainstream media, but
yeah, same.
His work is really good. I remember when I reposted the video of the arrest on my Twitter account, he DM'd me and was like, "How the hell did you not get arrested?" But like, and it was like, and he's doing good work. He's bringing a lot of shit to light. Phoenix is a really fucked up city when it comes to our police forces. We've got some great people.
Really
We've also got Jen, but we've got one of the most violent police forces in the country, and we really need to start fighting back against that by whatever means we have to, be it through the legal route, through the media route, or through taking to the streets. And thank you guys so much for being out there on the streets.
Yes, and also thank you guys so much for being willing to come in here and talk to us about this. I remember how outraged people were when we first brought that piece out and we're talking about it on, I believe it was one of our Spilling the LiberTEA episodes.
It was on the Spilling show because that's where I was a regular.
Yeah, when we come together on Mondays, we talk about the news and stuff like that. But if anyone's around that went out and covered anything specifically, we talk about that too. And Max put that on the table, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" And it's just, and it's not just y'all. This stuff is happening all over the place, and then the media is telling people that the protesters started it. And it's sick, and it's got to stop. And I mean, and y'all coming on to talk like this, it raises us some awareness, and we'll do what we can to spread it around. And those of you guys out there who watched this, please like it, and comment below, as well as, I mean, like, I love the comments in the live chat, but like, leave some comments below and like it to help us defeat that algorithm BS going on out there. And share it all across your social media, be it centralized or decentralized.
And fuck Twitch for not letting us use the word ACAB.
Yeah, and fuck Twitch. Apparently ACAB is not allowed on Twitch, because as soon as I changed it to like 1312, which is literally the same fucking thing. I mean, like, and they were okay with it. They were like, "Oh, that's fine. Use the numbers, not the letters. It's fine." But that's some bullshit. fuck you, Twitch. I say as we're on Twitch, but like,
But fuck Google too.
we're
Google.
riding these platforms till the wheels fall off because like they are the big ones, and it gets, like you catch the normies out there watching this stuff on occasion and stuff like that. So we'll use it as long as we can, but we do have backup because we don't trust this place. We don't trust any of these places, and it's all. And they're censoring the right, they're censoring the left, they're censoring anarchists, they're censoring libertarians, they're censoring anyone that doesn't fit into their perfect little rainbows and sunshine paradigm. Because like these big businesses, they do serve the government and stuff like that. And like they have said in here, people like Max being out there catching this stuff on camera. If you want to get out there and you maybe don't want to protest, go and be a neutral observer. Go and take your cameras, be an independent journalist.
Always
Help
film the
your
cops
community
as
with
well.
the truth. Yes, and always film
protesters
cops.
say don't get their faces. Don't get their faces.
That's also
Yeah.
a very good point. Thank you.
Do not incriminate them.
Do your best not to get their faces. Like, I know it's really hard out there at protests and stuff happens, but like, do your best not to hit people's faces. Live streams are kind of dangerous and risky in that format, but if you don't do them live and something happens, then you may not have, like, if something they can take your camera and bust it up, you might lose it. So
Somebody
be
busts
careful.
up my
Like,
camera.
it's
Somebody's
such
getting busted up.
such a double-edged blade, like use your best judgment, be very careful, try not to hurt anybody, but we do need to be out there filming this stuff so that it is recorded. Because as I've said a mazillion times before, the revolution will not be televised, but it could very well be live streamed and digital. And like we need to make sure that it is. So like
Shoot
if
cops
any of you
with
guys
cameras.
Yeah, shoot cops with cameras. We have a t-shirt that says that. You guys support your local cop watchers. All across the United States. Become a local cop watcher all across the United States. If you guys want to get involved doing coverage or anything like that, and you know where to start, and you don't want to start by yourself, reach out to us, and we will support you. We'll help you. We'll give you a platform to get started on, and then like we'll do our best to help support your platform. If you actually make a platform after that on your own, I would like Max to do that, but he hasn't quite gotten around to it yet. So we can't pimp the shit out of his channel because he doesn't have one yet.
Follow
but
me on
we will.
Twitter. That's where all my journalism is.
Yeah.
And where I live.
Hit us up and we'll get you guys started. If you guys want to help, but you don't necessarily want to do anything like that, I mean, like, we could use the help of people who do graphics, people who understand marketing, people who do social media well, people who like, like modding communities and stuff. Like, we've gotten a little bit bigger than our britches, so like we definitely need help out there still, and we would appreciate it if you guys are interested. Just reach out to us on social media or anything, and we will reach back. It may take us a minute, but we will reach back. And if you guys don't have time to help us, usually if you guys don't have the time to help us, give us your filthy white market money. If y'all are in Arizona, y'all help your community right now, and definitely be helping your community wherever the heck you are. But we do use it to pay the bills here, to keep our stuff out there on the internet, and the really cool setup we have here at StreamYard and stuff like that. That's one of the only white market things that we use here. I think, but it's kind of small and it's really nice, and I think they deserve it because they put it together so well. You guys can hit up our Subscribestar. You guys can hit up our CoinTree with your crypto. Even if it's dirty, filthy white market crypto, we'll wash it. After we pay the bills, we put everything into the LiberTEA fund, and that goes into all sorts of stuff. Like if we see people trying to put together care packages, we'll drop money in that. If we see people trying to get together and get out to a protest, we'll help them with their gas. Like whatever we
That's
can,
sick as fuck.
yeah, like whatever we can do. If we see bail funds out there, we will throw a little here, a little there, and spread it out amongst, like whatever we can. So like we don't keep that money. We definitely use it to help get out there and do some action.
Remember when I was covering J17, all the other journalists were talking about their salaries versus their commissions whenever they were independent, and I said, "Y'all are getting paid."
At least somebody there got it. It was only one, but at least
One
somebody else.
One dude got the joke. One dude got the joke.
Yeah, but we've got a lot of stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be talking to a lot of different people, bringing some more faces of Liberty on to interview them and find out how they got started and what they're doing and everything like that. We are going to be going back. I'm going to get Tommy on here, and we're going to go back and discuss in more depth the idea of the singing revolution. And it's just going to be a really interesting couple of weeks coming up. I still have some openings, so I'm not really sure what all we're doing, but I do know we're going to have some really good interviews, and we're going to have that discussion about that. And we're also planning on having a night where we discuss specifically what our grievances against the state are. And if you're interested in getting involved in that, definitely hit us up, or send us a clip if you can't make it, and we'll play it there. Because I want to share everybody's grievances. I want to talk about them. I want to lay it out there and get down and dirty in it. And I'm also kind of trying to put together a roundtable discussion on the NAP in practice rather than theory. So if you're interested in that, hit me up too. Until then, you guys stay safe, stay free. Don't sacrifice the latter for the former, because that's bullshit. Until we see you guys again later.
Yeah, thanks
this
so much.
episode of Stirring the LiberTEA
Have a good one.
is freaking adjourned.
Honestly. Thank you
guys
so much for having us.
so much.
So
And
glad to have you.
Dude, still